Hello, happy catalog launch day, everybody. Welcome. Who is excited about the catalog launch? And who has already placed an order? Go ahead when you jump on. Let me know you're here. Say hello. Hope everybody had a good week. Hi, Laura. How are you? I know you've already placed your order. Yay! Go ahead and say hello. I see we've got a couple more people on. For those of you who are new, my name is Teresa Harper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Sheridan, Oregon in the USA. Hello, Cynthia. Good evening. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you. Hello, Tracy. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I've put up my current host code here for any orders that you place $150 or less. If you place an order for $150 or more, do not use the host code because you will earn Stampin' Rewards for yourself, and we want you to have those. All right. Tonight, we are going to be using product from the new annual catalog. I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to be using the Happiness Abounds stamp set and the coordinating Blossom Happiness dies. Love these. And this is a photopolymer set. There are 15 photopolymer stamps in here, and the coordinating dies are 11. We're also going to be using the He's All That dies. We're going to be using this image right here, and this is actually for the inside, not the outside, so you could skip that process if you so choose, because crafty girls do what they want. You will find Happiness Abounds on page 109 of the catalog. In fact, it is a complete suite with the Hues of Happiness. So it has designer series paper, some embellishments, and the stamp and die set. And this paper is beautiful. Let me grab that, although I've cut mine up considerably, so I don't have tons of it left. I just have pieces. So it has these beautiful flowers, roses, that you can cut with the coordinating dies, and I've done quite a few. You get 2 sheets of 6 different double-sided designs. This is what's on the back. This piece goes with, let's see, yeah, this is what I have left. Not a lot, not a lot. And then this is the other designs. And then you've got this one with some cross hatches and flowers. And then you have these flowers on the back. Okay. So we're going to be using just a small piece of this. Well, we're going to be using quite a few of the flowers that I've already cut from that paper to save us some time. Okay, let me see if I can get that. Well, we'll sort of get that back in. It's kind of hard when it's all cut up like that. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. This is sort of the card that we're making tonight. I've made some changes. I cased this fold from, I saw Barb Milliken make it. And I believe it was Barb Milliken. Anyway, I'm going to change it up a bit. So there's where we're going. sort of. We're going to be using the new, new metallic woven ribbon in Orchid Oasis. I'm changing up the color palette just a bit. And I want to give you a hint about the Sweet Sorbet metallic woven ribbon. This is actually Sweet Sorbet cardstock. This is the Sweet Sorbet metallic woven ribbon. And as you can tell, they really don't, I think I'm frozen here on my laptop. There we go. As you can tell, they really don't match. So I didn't use it because I didn't like the way they matched. Well, then I got this brainstorm, and we have the Stampin' Blends. So I took a piece of the Sweet Sorbet. I used the dark Sweet Sorbet Stampin' Blend, and now, after I've colored that, it matches much better. So if you're ordering the metallic Sweet Sorbet ribbon, just be aware that it's not going to match your cardstock. Not even close. It actually is a very good match to go with the polished pink. It looks really nice on polished pink. So just take your dark Sweet Sorbet ribbon or marker, Stampin' Blend, and color it. It's still just as beautifully soft. If you, once it dries, you take your bone folder and you just run it across it like so. Then when you, after you do that, then you'll have the softness of this ribbon back. And it sparkles like crazy. It ties beautifully. This particular color just doesn't match very well, but with the Stampin' Blend, you can make it. So I just wanted to give you that tip right out of the gate because I didn't want you to be disappointed if you order it and it doesn't match. All right, so we're going to be using some Sweet Sorbet ink and Orchid Oasis ink, and these are two of the new 22-24 in colors. We're going to be using the Stampin' Blends in the light and dark Orchid Oasis, light and dark Sweet Sorbet, and the light and dark Parakeet Party. Like I said, we'll be using the metallic ribbon. And then we've got some 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 5 1/4 inch piece of cardstock in the Orchid Oasis. That's going to be our card base. I've got a piece of the Blessings of, or the Heart and Home Designer Series paper, and this is from the mini catalog. Has this pattern on the back. We're going to be using the wood pattern on the front, and then I've got some basic white cardstock. Okay, and then we will be using the basic borders along with that the other Stampin' dies that I told you about. And the one that we're going to be using is this one right here. Okay, so let's get started. I've done some of the work already, just in the efforts of saving some time, but I want to show you how I did this card base. So you're going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5, and then you're going to take and cut this at 3 inches, which will leave you with 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so we're going to cut that down. And then we're going to get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And I'm going to get the plates here. And I'm going to line this up. And this will fit on your mat here. And then you want to take one side of this cuts and one side doesn't. So you want to take the cutting edge and you want to line that up along the very edge of your cardstock here with the 1 1/4 inch side. And then you would use some Post-it tape. Okay. I try to line it up so it's about even. Take some Post-it tape, put that down, or when you get your new magnetic plate, which went live today for ordering, then you can put this through your machine. Okay, and when you get done, then you've got this. Okay, this is your card base. Now I've already taken and tied a piece of the Orchid Oasis woven ribbon on there. To see how beautifully that shines. This one matches pretty well. So anyway, so we've got that. That's our card base. And then I'm going to take this piece of Designer Series paper. I'm going to take another piece of the Orchid Oasis cardstock. This piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that's so that it will become the front of our card. We're going to add it like so, but before we do that, we're going to mount this piece of Designer Series paper on our cardstock. And we're going to do that with some Stampin' Seal. This piece is 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to add that to that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay. And I've already put my ribbon on there, so now I can take and put this in here like this. I'm going to take some liquid glue, and I'm going to go along this edge. Well, I am, if I can get my glue to work here. This is a pretty new bottle. Okay, where did I put my... There it is. Looking for my silicone mat so I don't lay that gluey pin down on my surface. Okay, so then I'm just going to go along here like this. I'm not getting too close to the edge. And then I'm not going to go past the score line there. Then I'm just going to take and set this right in this card base, right at the score mark. I'm going to set that down. I'm going to close that up, and I'm going to give it a press. And I got glue a little close. You've got some stitching here, so you need to keep your glue behind that stitching, so it doesn't pour on through. Okay, so we'll give that a press, and then we can set this aside to dry while we work on the other parts of our card. Okay, go ahead and give this a trim while I'm here. All right. So our next, hello Mary Isley and Lynette. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of stamping. I'm going to get a piece of scrap basic white cardstock. This is the inside of our card, so we'll stamp that while we're stamping. And we're going to stamp our sentiment on there. I'm going to start with some memento. And for the inside of our card, we're going to take the large flower, which is also in the Happiness Abounds. I'm going to stamp that over here on the left. And then I'm going to take the small clump of flowers, stamp this on the right in memento. And then that's the inside of our card for that portion. And for this, I'm going to take the Orchid Oasis ink pad. And hang on, I had this all planned out here. This is going to go on the front. This is going to go right here. I'm taking the sentiment, "You are wonderful in every way." I'm going to ink that up in the Orchid Oasis. And I'm going to stamp this down on this die cut from the All That dies. And I'm just going to put that in the center. Okay. All right, so that's the stamping for the center of our card. Now for the front of our card, we're going to take the "Sending Many Thanks for All You Do." And I'm going to ink that up in Orchid Oasis. And I'm going to stamp that right up here on the top. Like so. And let that set on the paper for a second to let that ink soak into the paper. All right, now I've got my greeting for the front. And we can set that aside. And then we can take our scraps of basic white, and I really do have scraps. Okay. And we're going to take this flower from Happiness Abounds and stamp it in memento. Okay. I'm going to take the large flower from Happiness Abounds. Let me get this string off of my memento pad before I make an inky mess. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp it down. And then we need one of the 5-petaled leaf sprigs, and we need 2 of the double petals. And I'm just using up these small scraps. Okay. Now we can put our memento away. And I'm going to grab out a scrap piece of paper here. We're going to color these with our Stampin' Blend. Now I'm not going to make you watch all of this because I have it all done actually, but I did want to show you how I did the flowers. Okay, so I did the large flower for this card in Sweet Sorbet. And to do this one, I'm going to give a coat on one of these petals I'm going to coat the petal in the light Sweet Sorbet. And where these fold, I'm going to put the light. And when I did this, I did one petal at a time. Then I'm moving to the dark. And where the petal folds over, I'm going to go underneath that petal where it folds, because there would be a shadow line. And then I'm going to go under this part, and I'm just going to put a little bit of dark here near the center. And then I'm just going to go back over that dark to blend that in a little bit with the light. And I did that with all the petals, okay? And I used, for the center of this flower, I used the Natural Tones Collection SGU 100. And I just put that in the center. Okay. And when you get that all colored, this is what it looks like. Now I've added some Wink of Stella to my flower, because you know how much I love my Wink of Stella if you've been with me for very long. All right, so I've added that. We've got that piece. For the smaller flower, I'm using Orchid Oasis. And again, I'm going to start with the light. This one doesn't have as much definition, so I'm going to take this petal here and I'm going to start, and I just outline this, and then I'm going to fill it in. And then the petal to the left folds over the top, so I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to put some little brush strokes right there, go up there a bit, and then I'm going to go back with my light, and I'm just going to go over those areas with some little brush strokes, and then I'm going to leave that to be. Okay, and I'm going to do that with each of those petals, and I'm going to finish that stem with some Parakeet Party. Okay, and a little bit of Wink of Stella, and there's our Orchid Oasis flower. Okay, and I've cut those out with the coordinating dies. For the leaves, I took the light Parakeet Party, and I did this with both the large and the small, and I outlined with the blend, filled in, and then I'm going to take my dark and I'm going to work out from the center and put just a little bit there, and then I'm going to go back with my light and just blend that in a little bit. For these smaller ones, there's a little bit less area, so we're going to put that in with the light. And then we'll just go back over the top. Okay? And then we will cut those out with the coordinating dies. And these are our leaves. Okay? All right. Oh, then we need to color our little flowers here. And with these, I just took the light, and in both the light Orchid Oasis and the Sweet Sorbet, and I'm just going to color these in with they're so tiny, I'm not worrying about shading. But what I did do was I've got the top one Sweet Sorbet, I'm going to put the bottom one Sweet Sorbet here. And then I'm going to put these 3 in the group in the Orchid Oasis. And really, if you just go in an oval, it will fill in the entire petal pretty quickly, and you won't go outside the lines. Okay, now for this one over here, we're going to do exactly the opposite. I'm going to put the Orchid Oasis in the center and the light Sweet Sorbet on the 2 outers. Okay, go back with my light Parakeet Party. And these leaves are so tiny, I'm barely touching the paper, because I don't want the Parakeet Party bleeding everywhere. It's a real light hand. Okay. And then again, I took that SU-100 and I dotted the centers of those flowers. Okay, now we can add our sentiment to our inside here. You would not have to use this die cut. You could just stamp your sentiment right on your piece, but I did really like how this looked. Gives it just a little bit of elegance. Okay, now this is ready for the inside of our card. Let's go ahead and add it. There we go. Okay, and as you can see, by adding this piece of the Orchid Oasis to the front, when I did the initial card, you can see the other side of the patterned paper. Well, this is Misty Moonlight, and it didn't really go with the Orchid Oasis exactly. So by adding this extra piece, now my card inside matches. So if you're curious as to why I did that. All right, now this is almost done. We're going to take and put these down here. And this one I'm going to put down flat. Like so. And then I'm going to take a Stampin' Dimensional, or 2 or 3. I'm going to put in the center of my little rose here, and I want to keep them from the outsides because I'm going to add my leaves in behind, and I want to be able to tuck those. So I'm going to put my large rose down here, and then I'm going to add this leaf with some dimensional, or not dimensionals, but some glue dots. They do give a little bit of depth. Let's see if I can get that to come off my fingernail. Oh no! My leaf disappeared. Oh goodness. Okay, well, we've got this one. Let's just finish it up and we'll cut it out. I'm not sure where it landed, but we're not going to spend all day looking for it, so we'll just finish this up. Won't take but a minute. Cut it out, and we will be back in business. Okay, so we've got the light going up from the center, going back with the light, and just blending that in. Okay, let's grab the coordinating die and our mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, which will work perfectly for this application. We'll just take our matching die here, grab our cutting plates. I'm going to put that on. Now when you go to look through the new annual catalog, it will show cutting plates for both the large and the mini. The large machine is currently available. The mini plate is not. Stampin' Up! Has had some delays in the production of that, and as soon as it's available, they will let us know. Okay. So we'll just use a bit of Post-it tape. And now we have that leaf that decided it wanted to run away. Oh no, there they are. Huh, I'm like, oh no, where'd the rest of my leaves go? Okay, put that die away real quick. Let's get those glue dots. Turn that over. Move those cutting plates out of our way. I'm just going to pop this up with the glue dot. It'll raise it just a tiny bit without giving it too much. And then I'm going to tuck this in here. Like, I want it to look like it's coming off of this stem, but behind that rose. And then this two, we're just gonna put down with some Stampin' Seal. Put this one over here like so. And then we'll tuck this one underneath this rose like this. And there is our finished card. Okay? I hope you like that. And for the envelope, then I took and stamped the same flower images, which I see I forgot to do the flower centers on these. So we'll get the SU 100 and just dot this. If you're putting a bit of, if you are coloring heavy, you would want to make sure that you put a piece of cardstock in the center. Inside your envelope so that it doesn't bleed through to the back. But I'm just putting a dot, so I'm not worried about that right now. So there you have it. Which version do you prefer? We've got these two. Let me put those down so you can see them properly. And while you're looking at those, I will bring out the next project. Okay. Orchid Oasis, very bright and pretty card. Thank you, Laura. Jennifer, thank you. All right. Let's see. Love it. Oh. Yeah. No, Tracy, I think that leaf fell into my little pocket on my chair pad. And once it's in there, sometimes it's like you got to dig everything out. Okay. Let's get the second bin. And we'll move on to our next card, which doesn't actually have a lot of stamping. It uses more of the Designer Series paper. So we're going to start this card with a black card base. And of course we've got our envelope, and I did the same application as I did on the last for decoration here. Then we've got a piece of the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4. We need a scrap of black, basic black, for our sentiment. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of Granny Apple Green that are cut at 4 by 4. Okay? So let's grab that. Or I guess you could leave it at the 8.5. 4 1/4 by 8.5 if you so choose. I'm only going to cut one of these for you because I've already cut. So we're going to use the Nature's Prints dies. They come in a bundle with Nature's Prints. Oh, it's the Natural Prints dies. You can buy these as a bundle. You'll find them on page 91 of the new annual 22-23 annual catalog. And of course, when you buy the bundle, you save 10%. For this bundle, this particular die was the selling point for me. I love this die. It's a fabulous wreath. I want to show you how it cuts. I've actually already cut what I need, but I did want to show you how beautifully it cuts. Okay, so we're going to take this, and if you just have a 4 by 4 inch piece of cardstock, you can get one out of there. So let's grab those plates that we had earlier. And we'll run this through. So for the cut and emboss machine, you need plate 1, plate 2, and 2 of plate 3, but we're going to put plate 3 down, and then we're going to put down our die. And remember, this is a very intricate die. So I'm going to take and slide this through. This has no stamp to it. It's a standalone die within the set. And I'm going to run it front and back just because it's intricate and I want to make sure it cuts very nicely. And as you can tell, that came out of there very nice. Okay, so let's move this machine out of the way. And I'm going to throw that back in the envelope. Bring in this die. And you'll see just how intricate it is. And really all you need to do is just wiggle the paper so that the interlocking pieces pop out of there without tearing, okay? It comes out pretty easy. You just have to work it because they're interlocked, and you can see it's like a little puzzle. Okay, then we'll set that aside. And then I'm going to take the tip of my, take your pick tool, and I'm just going to pop out these other pieces that's stuck in there. You could use your die brush tip, but this had already come out of the die, so it's pretty delicate and I don't want to do that at this point. It's quicker and safer for me to just poke them out. They're all cut beautifully, so they just pop right out of there. Okay, so this is the die that you get from that, or the die cut that you get from the die, which I think is just beautiful. So So we're going to take this and that scrap piece of paper that we have here. And I need 2 of these leaves. And I want to have, I thought I cut all the pieces that I needed. Uh-oh. If I didn't, I think I'm in trouble because I don't think, what? That was weird. What happened to all my pieces? Uh-oh. This could be bad. I thought I had them all. Okay, well, we'll figure it out here in a minute. So these 2 will look the same, and I don't want them to look exactly the same. So I'm going to take my blending brush and some Granny Apple Green, and I want to give one of these a little more depth. So I'm going to very gently take my blending brush with some ink over the top. And I don't want it to be even. I want some darker and some lighter spots. Let's get some, there we go. Now we're getting it. Okay. So then you can see how those are a little bit different now in color, and they give you a little bit of depth. All right. So let's start adding our pieces together now. And then I'll panic over my flowers in a minute. Okay. I don't know where I put those, so I'm going to have to figure it out. I thought I had them in that little envelope. So we're going to take this cardstock and we're going to add our Designer Series paper to that. Oops, I think I don't have that folded quite. This side looks to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to center that up. And then I'm going to take and put this piece. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here and there. I don't want a lot, and I don't want big blobs because this does have some cuts in it. Come on, I have a full bottle of glue there. A little bit, and spread it out with my tip. I don't want a lot. Just little daubs. And we'll just put almost done here. Like I say, we don't have to have everything nailed down. Okay. And then I'm going to add this to the front of my card here. I'm going to try and center that up. Okay. And then if you'll notice, I've got a large leaf here and a large leaf here on this wreath. So when I put this one down, I want to make my wreaths opposite, or my leaves. So I'm going to put my big leaf and my other big leaf, I'm going to put them on this side rather than just laying this on top of each other. And those are my landmarks. So again, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here and there. If I get a large portion, I'm just going to spread it out with the tip of my glue bottle. Now you could cut this with the an adhesive sheet on the back, and then it would be solidly down. But I think if you do that, I wanted mine to stick up here and there for just a little bit of depth, a little bit of interest. Okay, again, I'm looking to see where those two large leaves are. And then I'm going to put this down so that they're opposite of what was there before. Okay, and then I'll just press that down and let it dry. Now, let's see if I cut all of those. Oh, here's where I put all those. I knew I had them cut. Whew! I put them in a little container so they wouldn't get lost. So I cut these right out of the Designer Series paper with the dies. So that's a beautiful coordination that we have. And I'm going to dry fit these. I'm going to put the two pinks opposite each other, I think. Sort of. I'm going to go with the and the purple here. Okay. Then I also hand cut from the paper some of these little leaves. Okay. There are leaves in the paper that you can cut with the dies. Let me show you those. Oh, there we go. Okay. So all of these flowers have coordinating dies that fit them. And these 5 leaf sprigs and the 2 leaf, those also have dies that will cut them out. But I thought that those were a little large for what I wanted today. So I took and hand cut the small leaves that I found in the paper. And we're going to add those to this. And they're really easy to hand cut, so that's what we're going to do. And we're going to just dry fit this. I want this one to go this direction. And here. And then I'll go like this. And like this. All right. And then, because I already have the layers, I'm just going to add these with a little bit of liquid glue on the back in the center. And I'm going to lay that down like so. These I'm going to put on with a glue dot because I want to give them just a bit of dimension. I'm going to put that at the base of the leaf. And then I'll add that. And we will add these. So, and another leaf with a glue dot. And I'm sticking to my glue dots. Take your pick tool, works really well for this. glue dot. And these glue dots are sticking to my nail polish like crazy. Okay. Now you could take and stamp and color all these and do it in colors of the rainbow. And you would have a beautiful card. But you can, out of 2 of the sheets of paper, which is one of each kind, you can make 2 cards. You'll get enough of these small flowers to make 2 cards. So you could make 4 cards with using these little flowers out of a whole pack of paper. And then you have tons of the bigger ones left to do whatever. And like I said, you can always stamp and color. Where is my last leaf? Oh no, where'd it go? Okay, well, I don't see it. So, oh, there it is, right here on my card. Silly thing, decided to run away. So we'll add that. Okay. Actually, I don't like the way I put that leaf. I want to turn this leaf. So I'm going to twist, so I don't rip. And I'm going to move this to this direction. Always twist when you're trying to take your layers off. Okay, so then with this small black layer, we're going to grab the heat embossing supplies. So I'm going to take some, I'm using an embossing buddy. You can get these on Amazon if you don't have one. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell them anymore. But I've had this bag for, oh, I don't know, 20 years. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to take Happy Birthday. I'm going to take the Happy Birthday from the Happiness Abounds with some Versamark ink. I'm going to ink that up. I'll let that sit for a second. Pull it up. And then we're going to put some white embossing powder on here. Tap that off. Okay. We'll set that aside. And then we'll take our heat tool and we'll emboss that. Okay? And when we're done with that, we're going to fussy cut that out. And this is what we'll have. Okay? So we're going to take this Happy Birthday and we're going to take the edges of our mini glue dots, or our mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I love to keep these little edges for stuff just like this. I'm going to cut some little slivers, and I'm just going to put my slivers of dimensionals in the center, toward the center of the sentiment. Okay. And the reason that I'm doing that is because the ends are going to fit on these other pieces. Okay, so I'll just take a tiny bit of glue. for the end. And this is Tombow glue. I just put it in a different bottle to get a fine tip here. Okay. And then I'm going to remove the release papers off of these little tiny pieces of dimensionals. If you don't have any of the little dimensionals and you have the adhesive sheets or even the large dimensionals, if you just cut those, and then I'm just going to stick this right here in the middle of this wreath, like so. Okay, then I'm going to take some of the brushed brass butterflies. And I'm going to spread a couple of these on here. Put one up here. Put a little one. Oh, I don't know, maybe here. And then we'll take another smaller one and we'll put it right here. Okay. And finally, I'm going to take a piece of the cotton ribbon that's in the mini catalog, which I put away apparently because I've already cut it. I took this is the cotton ribbon combo pack, and this is the petal pink. And I wanted something that was really thin. So I took and laid this on a piece of scrap paper. Took my dark melon mambo. No, actually I used my light melon mambo and I colored that with my blend. And then I tied it in a double bow. And I'm going to add this to my project here with a glue dot. I wanted a small ribbon and I didn't have any in Melon Mambo. So I made my own with the Petal Pink 1/8 inch cotton ribbon combo pack. And then I'm just going to put this right in here. Trim this up just a smidge. And there is my card front. Okay. Now for the inside of this card, I'm going to take a piece of the basic white and I'm going to stamp a sentiment on there. And I'm going to use the sentiment that says, wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. I'm going to stamp that in black in the memento. Like so. Let that sit for a minute and soak in. And then I'm going to take those larger flowers that I had cut from the paper, from that designer series paper. I've got one in Melon Mambo and one in the Daffodil Delight. And I'm just going to add these to the inside of my card here. I'm not going to press that down hard because I might want to move it. So I'm just going to stick this in here like this. And when I'm happy with it, I'll give it a press. Put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the back there. And now I have a beautiful birthday card. Okay. Get that to lay down. Get all of these things out of the way. Here's our matching envelope. All right, let me bring back in those other projects that we made. And there you have it. I do want to show you the my sample card I actually did with, I tried to do in rainbow order, but you only get so many of the little flowers on your designer series paper, and I didn't have enough to quite do another rainbow. So anyway, there are our projects for tonight. I hope you like those. All right. All right, does anybody have any questions? Oh, you guys, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the lovely comments. I'm glad you like them. If you're new to my channel, be sure and like and follow me so that you'll get notified every time I upload a live video or a blog post. And I will see everybody back here next Tuesday night. Everybody have a great week. All right, good night. Thank you.